kids. You'll never guess what I found today when I was going through some closets in my house. I found this great big bag full of stuffed toys and animals. Now, these stuffed animals and toys don't belong to me. They belong to my kids. But I remember when they were really little how much each one of them meant to them. They would name them and play with them. They would sing to them. They would carry them around. Each toy they knew very well, and they loved each one. That kind of reminds me of a story I want to share with you that's found in the New Testament that Jesus used to teach us how much we mean to him. The story I'm talking about is found in the book of John, chapter 10, verses 1 through 18. Now, it's a very long story, and there's a lot in there, so I'm just going to kind of give you the quick version of what I want you to learn. The whole story basically boils down to a shepherd and his sheep. Now, why would Jesus use a story of shepherds and sheep to teach us how much he loves us? Well, back in Jesus's day, everybody knew the job of a shepherd. They ate, slept, and spent every waking moment with their sheep. They fed them. They cleaned them, they protected them, they walked them, they named them, they trained them. Every waking moment was spent with those sheep. The shepherd knew his sheep well, and the sheep knew their shepherd. Well, it all kind of comes down to this. We, in this story, happen to be the sheep. Well, I don't look like a sheep, and I certainly don't smell like a sheep, but I need a leader. I need a shepherd to teach me, to protect me, and to help me grow into who I need to be. Can you guess who the good shepherd is? I'm going to give you a minute. You think about it. Do you think you know? Why don't you yell it out on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. You're right. It's Jesus. Jesus is our good shepherd. That's the whole reason he told the story. We are the sheep, and he is our shepherd. So what can we learn from the story? Well, verse 3 tells us this. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. Did you know that Jesus knows you by name? He knows you as Johnny or Mary or Jeffrey or Sally. It doesn't matter what your name is. He knows your name. He doesn't just know you as the 3rd child in your family or a potential 5th grader. He calls you by name. Pretty cool, right? The second thing we can learn is found in verse 4, and it says this. When he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice. Do you know there's a lot of things kind of trying to catch our attention? Friends want us to hear their voice and follow them. The TV is always telling us one thing, or commercials another, or video games something else. There's a lot of noise in our world. But if we know God's voice, we will hear it and we will stick close to him. Well, how do we know God's voice? We have to spend time with him. We have to read his word. We have to know who he is through the words that he gave us, and we need to spend time in prayer. The more time we spend with him in prayer, the more we are receptive to hearing his voice. And just like the Good Shepherd, he will keep us close to him and keep us safe. That's what the shepherd did with the sheep. The last thing I want to share with you is in verse 14. It says this, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. You know what I love about this verse is that Jesus knows you, everything about you, everything everybody knows about you, and everything everybody doesn't know about you. And he still chooses to love you. Isn't that an incredible idea? I'm not perfect. I don't always make good decisions, but Jesus knows my heart, and he draws me close, and he still loves me. That's the most incredible part of this whole story. Now, once again, there is a lot to unpack in this story, and I challenge you this week to get your moms and your dads to read through it together and answer some questions, because there's a lot of great great material here. John chapter 10, verses 1 through 18. Hey, by the way, before I go, I want to say thank you to all of you that left comments on your Facebook or on my Facebook after the video. I'll be looking for you and your comments again. Talk to you again soon. Bye.